let's go back to earlier days. In Thailand, we see you approach the express pass with a hard pass with a big old note.
Hard pass.
Were bugs just never on the table for you?
Bugs were never, like, going into the Amazing Race, myself and Milena, we are definitely afraid of bugs. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. I am afraid. Like, I'm afraid to even kill them. I'm afraid to get near them. So you expect me to try to eat them? Oh, hell no. No, that's not happening. That's why I can't go on Survivor. Because I would love to go on Survivor, but I can't do bugs.
No. Sleeping with them? Oh gosh, no.
I can't.
It appears though that you're in second place then at this time, but as you guys are getting on this river boat, you're like way back now. I got very confused. What happened?
Okay, so we were trying to find where the entrance to this river place to get the next clue was located. So they had like this huge map of where the Buddha was in different areas. And it was like, I mean, it wasn't just us. We were running around trying to find where this entrance to get to this boat was. And it was like, it wasn't like no straight path. We were going behind different different statues. I'm like, who would know to come back here? I'm interrupting somebody praying. Like, excuse me, like, what is going on here? It was not like, okay, this is the path to the boats. No, it was like behind here, turn around here. It was very cryptic how we got to those boats. I'll just say that.
Okay. Well, one thing I really loved about watching you race was I felt like you stayed cool under pressure and made really smart choices. Like in Vietnam, when you had to wait for a station at the paper instead of switching to plastic. What was your mindset? What were you thinking at that time?
So, because let me just wind it back really quick. The reason why now, like, you saw that we made good decisions because in Thailand, when we was doing that sword challenge, we were there for hours. And I did not want to do the sword challenge. Milena wanted to do it. I'm like, nobody wants to memorize this. And they didn't show you this. She was so adamant about doing that. And I'm like, the massage will be great. We get massages all the time. So once we switched and we got through it and did it behind the scenes, I'm like, Milena, you have to trust me on making these decisions. If I say I don't want to do it, please trust me. So that right there was the turning point. So fast forward to was it Vietnam? I want to say, yeah, Vietnam. Yeah. That's why we were able to make that decision. When we saw the detours, we were like, motorcycle, what? That just sounds too technical. Whereas this, we had someone, showing us the demonstration. I'm like, I know somebody is going to let up on one of these stations. Let's stay here. This is our chance to watch them continuously do it. I was able to sit there and time them to see how long they, had the rice paper on the big thing, and when they lifted up the top of it. So that helped us. That helped us a lot as far as getting the timing, getting it, and continuously watching it while everybody else is messing up on the stations. It's sometimes good to, come, third, fourth later, because you're not in it, trying to, finish first and mess up. I have time to look at the model.
You were able to bring in your grounded Capricorn energy. I like it.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And that was the game changer with that one.
Well, in India, you guys get a 4th place finish. Hello.
That was amazing.
And I think the key was your dancing.
Yes. Well, growing up, I love to dance. So growing up, I did ballet, I did jazz. Even now in my church, I'm a praise dancer. So dancing is just in my blood. So when we opened the challenge, the clue, and we saw it was dancing, I'm like, oh, I got this in the bag. Like, let's go, let's do this. So it was that was a very fun challenge for me. The only thing was, I was like, the only issue was just making sure I keep the bowls on top of my head. As far as the counts and the movements, I had it. I'm not sure what that guy was thinking. The judge, the guy sitting there on his little high horse, no, go back in the line. I don't know what he was thinking, because everyone thought that I did an amazing with that challenge. They're like, what? Go back. She did it perfect. I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was not just me. I thought I was doing a pretty good job. I'm like, all right,
Right.
that's fine. I'm gonna still, keep calm under pressure.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I need to smile a little bit more, So
Well, you're able to get out at fourth at that time. And
yes.
then you guys go on to the picture detour, which seemed super difficult for most teams, but
hmm
you guys handled it rather quickly. What was the key there?
Um, Again, paying attention to detail. Like there was a lot of little things that people had to pick up, that like they had the small picture that we used as an example. It was a lot of those that you needed to make sure you picked up. And once we saw the little intricate things that we needed to adjust, it was just a matter of, staying calm under pressure and finding those different pieces and put it together. Yeah. I will say that with Morgan and Lena's pictures, their picture was like a white background, so it was hard for them to see the different shades as to what was missing on their picture, versus ours was orange, like a bright yellow, and I think Robin's was a bright orange. So those bright colors it allowed us to see what was standing out and what was different that we needed to pick up.
Well, we have to talk about Germany. I mean, you
Do we have
land.
to?
We do. We do. It seems like just from the get-go, I'm like, wait, where are they? I don't
Yeah.
recognize where you're driving. What happened?
Oh, I don't even know what happened, because when we left out of the car park at the airport, we left out in third place. It
Mhm.
was Greg and John in the leading the pack, Robin and Chelsea, and we were behind them. We coming out, we're driving, we're doing good. Robin and Chelsea gets off an exit. I'm like, I don't know where they're going. So now it's, us and Greg and John in front of us. They veer off. I'm like, I don't know where they're going, because we're supposed to be on this. And then from there, it just went downhill. Hindsight 2020, we should have probably got lost with Greg and John, because they course correct real quick. They would have course
Mhm.
corrected real quick and got back on into wherever we need to go. We could have just got lost with them and made it to the front of the pack.
When you realize you don't have the right coins, I mean, you've already been through it at this point, but what goes through your head at this moment?
At this point, I was devastated, but also I still had hope, because when I went to the clue box to read what our clue was, there was another clue still in there. So I'm like, oh, we're still in this. Let me
Okay.
go, let me go up. All right, we have the wrong coins. Let's course correct. Let's fix this. Let's find the right ferry and finish
Mhm.
that right. So it's not until we get back to the castle and I checked the clue box again, and that clue is gone. And there was
Um,
like there's no car, nobody. I'm like, oh, they came, did what they had to do, and it's gone. And I'm like, that's when I really knew. I'm like, oh, we are last. We're dead last. Because remember when we got on the ferry, we asked them like, hey, did you see anybody else, get on the ferry? And he's like, no. So we're thinking we're number one. But to be honest, we weren't.
no. What, how much work actually went into getting directions, figuring out, finding the other ferry? I mean, we're only seeing a portion of it. What were you
Right.
really up to?
I mean, the thing was, who knew there were more than one ferry? There were like four different ferries in this
Mhm.
small city of Cobb. And there were like three other different castles there. I'm like, how many castles can be in this small town? And what also was interesting was the ferries. The name of the ferries wasn't on the actual sign of it. It said Ferry Cobb, but it never said specifically the name of that particular ferry. So that just threw us off as well. So we were
Yeah.
busy going up and down this one street, like, where is this ferry? And we didn't see we didn't see the sign or the name, so we didn't know.
Mhm. So you have a feeling you're in the back, and
Yep.
then Phil meets you at the carnival at this
Ugh.
point. So I'm thinking, what is it the end of the day? Have you spent an entire day on
We
this?
literally, yeah, it was like the entire day, because
Oh,
I think by the time we got to the castle and like did the ferry again, it by then it was probably like 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening. So it's just like, it's getting dark. And we still had to go. I forget the next, we had to go to, I think it was
Y-
Cologne.
Yeah, there's still another detour and roadblock to go.
Exactly, exactly. And we still had to
Oh,
drive. We had to drive from Cobb another
mhm.
like hour and a half, 2 hours
Mm.
back into the city. So it's just like, okay, we're done.
Oh, I mean, I know that that's got to be heartbreaking. How
It
were you
was.
guys feeling at
I
that
mean, at that
moment?
point, we were, it was, needless to say, it was a very quiet ride back.
Mhm.
We were like, we were tired, we were hangry. I mean,
Mhm.
we spent all day in the car, not seeing, not near another team. So it was heartbreaking. But I mean, this was
That's
a
a
once in a lifetime opportunity that I will say
yeah.
I will cherish for the rest of my life. Like I have 12 other teams that are my tar family. We talk every day. I was able to do this race with my best friend. I consider myself a super fan. I've been watching The Amazing Race since day one. So, that's something I was able to go. Who can say that? I've been to India, I've been to Vietnam, I've been to these amazing
Yes.
places that I would have never thought I've been to. So, I have these memories and this adventure that I can cherish for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I mean, it's so impressive just to get cast. It's so difficult to get cast
Exactly. Exactly. When
and then have
when
the experience. Mm.
exactly. When my Milena was the one that initially got the call, and I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, you're lying. Like, I did not believe." I'm like, "Who did you talk to? Tell them to call me because you sound
Mhm.
crazy right now on the phone."
So yeah, tell me what it was like to race with your best friend and do this together.
It was, and it's such a cliche, but it was amazing. Like to be able to, like I said, just to be able to do this with her. Um, I was the super fan. She wasn't the super fan, but I brought her along. When we initially met in college, I told her about the Amazing Race, so she started liking it because I liked it. And to apply, we applied first in college. Submitted a video application, didn't hear anything. Second time, we did an open casting call right after graduation. We didn't hear anything, and then 15 years later, we're post COVID. Let's just try again, and to get a phone call, three times the charm. That the stars
But
were aligned, and you know
yes.
what? It's like never give up on your dreams.
That's right. That's a
Yeah.
good story. There's so many
Yes.
people who apply and don't hear back and never apply again.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, well, it was wonderful watching y'all and so lovely to speak with you today.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And tell everybody, hey, if there's another like all-star
Uh-huh.
season,
We
the
want
Philly
you.
Johns, we want that comeback season. Yes, we want to be on there. Count us in. We are ready to redeem ourselves.
Absolutely. I'm here for it. We'll make it
Yes.
happen. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah.